It was the morning of December 30, 2018 when 7-year-old Jazmine, her 3 sisters and their mother drove to a local grocery store to buy a bag of coffee for breakfast. The family had just stopped at a red light with Jazmine's mother, LaPorsha Washington, turning down the radio to ask one of her daughters, all still dressed in their pajamas, a question. It was after the lights turned green, as their car lurched forward, when the first shot rang out. Ms. Washington has told U.S. media she remembers the sound of shattering glass from her car window before hearing the pop, pop, pop of gunfire. 7-year-old Jazmine Barnes was gunned down while traveling with her mother and sisters on December 30, 2018. CNN, Jazmine, a curious, fun-loving second grader, was fatally struck in the head. Ms. Washington was shot but suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Her other daughters were injured from falling glass. According to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, almost 40,000 people died from gun violence in the U.S. in 2017. This equates to nearly 109 gun deaths daily. In the hours and days following the shooting, the family from Houston and the wider Texas community were left confused and fearful. Was the drive-by shooting racially motivated? Jazmine's family had described the gunman to police as a Caucasian man driving a red pickup. Based on their description, police created a composite sketch which was widely circulated. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, of Harris County, said there was a red truck at a red light just before the shooting. However, the driver did not appear to have been involved. Gonzalez said it was dark, the shooting happened quickly, and the truck was probably the last thing seen by Jazmine's family. Eric Black Jr. and a police composite sketch. AAP. 6 days ago, Sean King, an American activist and journalist, published an urgent post to more than 1 million social media followers for information on Jazmine's killer. Accompanied by a family photo of Jazmine cradling a young family member, King provided the same description the family had given police. The suspect was a 40-year-old Caucasian man with a beard and a red pickup. King also offered a $25 reward. The sum would balloon to $100,000. Yesterday, almost 2 weeks after Jazmine's slaying, a 20-year-old African-American man named Eric Black Jr. was arrested and charged with her murder. Black admitted he was driving a dark-colored SUV from which a passenger opened fire. Authorities now believe the shooting is likely a case of mistaken identity and not racially motivated. Red pickup truck believed to be involved in Sunday morning shooting of Jazmine Barnes in Texas. CNN, Black was arrested on Saturday afternoon during a traffic stop. Prosecutors said the 9mm handgun, believed to have been used in the shooting, had been recovered from his home. Gonzalez said authorities have identified the second suspect, who is also African American, but would not say whether the person was in custody. As it has transpired, officers with Harris County picked up Black after acting on a tip sent to King. Prosecutors said the confidential source had contacted the sheriff by email and told him the killers had shot the car by mistake, thinking the vehicle was someone else's that they had seen earlier that night. Prosecutors did not say why the killers opened fire. Tribute to Jazmine Barnes and activist Sean King. Artist credit, @Nicholas_Smith. Facebook, CNN, as King would tell his followers, the tragic case of Jazmine's murder included 2 incidents of mistaken identity. 4 different eyewitnesses thought the shooter was the white man in the truck. It wasn't, King wrote in a post yesterday. We received so many bad tips and so much misinformation. It just took us 3 days to solve it. After the initial report was made, it was at this point that King shared how, as well as the red truck, there were 2 men, in a completely different vehicle, who pulled up and shot and killed Jazmine. Her mother and the girls never saw the shooter. They heard the shots, saw Jazmine was shot in the head, that her mother was shot, and then looked up and saw this red truck with a white man driving it peeling off, he wrote. Christopher Sevilla, father of 7-year-old Jazmine Barnes, speaks during a news conference. AAP, I spoke to each of them. They also assumed the white man driving it fired the shots. It wasn't just the children in the car who believed the driver of the red truck was responsible. Another motorist followed the red truck in his own car and got a good look at him, while a tow truck driver also saw the truck and got a look at him. In the meantime, the two men that actually shot and killed Jazmine drove off in a completely different direction through the neighborhood, King wrote. They each later claimed that they thought they were shooting someone from a rival gang. Yes, they did it. No, they weren't framed. It just took several days to solve it. With Wires, copyright 9 Digital Thai Limited 2019.